IZOD IndyCar Series beginning its 2010 campaign here today in the streets of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Within 5 to 10 minutes, hopefully, Jack, we are going to get this thing back underway because the weather's looking much better.
And Bob, let's take a look at, first of all, how come you guys don't give me any credit when I predicted that it would stop raining in 5 minutes? I didn't anticipate the red flag, but I mean, my gosh. But I want to take a little time to talk about, with Jan Bikas, the strategy, because I think this changes everything a little bit. When we go back, we're going to have just about 44 minutes. It's going to become a timed race. Well, everybody is going to have to come into the pits now and take a change of Firestone tires from the Reigns to either the blacks or the reds now, because that rule is out the window. But that means you're going to be able to fill up with fuel. And under the time requirements, Jan Bikas, I'm going to tell you, I think some guys, if they're smart, will try to stretch it, and they might be able to go the distance without having to come back onto pit road at all before the checkered flag. What do you think?
I would agree with you, Jack, and I think in that particular case that it is how long do you run around on the wet tires. Sometimes when you see at the top of a dash there a 1.5, that is if you see that number on your fuel calculator, you have got to head for the pits or you won't make it around again. And they'll have those type of telemetry numbers on their wheel to be able to guide them, but typically that call is never made from the cockpit. That type of call is typically always made from pit road. As a driver, Robbie, as you know, they say pit, you pit. That's you got enough to worry about.
Yeah, and when you look at that as a driver, he wants to know one thing that's important. If they lose all contact, he knows if that number comes up lower on the wheel, if we can highlight where that would come up kind of on his information on the wheel, Jan, grab that pencil. But once he sees that number, 150, right in there, exactly, right in that box, he sees that number that's on the nice duct tape up there, he sees that number in here, he's down pit road. If he sees that number and he misses making pit road, he's going to run out of gas out on the track.
By the way, on the center there, see that track map? That's not in case you get lost. That's so that when you talk about turn number 1 and 2 and 3, you want to be sure you and your engineer are on the same page to be sure you're never transposing a corner.
And by the way, Jack, you did a great job, just an outstanding job.
We were just saying during the break that Jack really made a great call on that weather. He was on top of it.
Jack, this is Robbie. You can trust me to be the honest one here. They probably weren't saying anything like that.
Fellas, I appreciate it, but let me go back to what we're talking about. I really think that whoever wins this race is going to be the guy that goes to the dries first. And I know it's going to be a little dicey, but I think that that's going to be the key. But yet you could look at it the other way and say whoever goes to the dries last. And you know, we got to remember one thing. As you guys talked about, that number, that 1.5, that 1.6, this is a 2.5-mile racetrack. The backstretch alone is farther than turns 1, the short chute, turn 2, and the entire backstretch at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. When you get to start-finish, you still have another almost a quarter to a half mile before you can come to pit road. So you better be exactly right on your fuel. It's going to get real interesting, I think.
Working on the area between turns 2 and 3 right now.
But not really any puddled water. Obviously a little bit of river, but no huge standing water there. And it's amazing that you can even see the dry spots that are shining up there. So once you get cars back underway and we get back racing, the track, the proper racing line is really going to dry quickly, and then it's going to be a gamble to say who wants to come in first for stickers.
There's that long backstretch that Jack was talking about, 9/10 of a mile before the heavy braking area and almost a hairpin turn number 11 leading to the front stretch. Concrete on the left and asphalt on the right.
And it's only going to take a couple laps to really dry that up once they get back to green.
Yep. Sun is out. Things are looking much better. We'll resume the Sao Paulo Indy 300 in a moment from the streets of Sao Paulo on Versus. We have been red for over 30 minutes because of the rain shower. However, the skies have cleared somewhat. The rain has stopped, and we are about to get the command to restart the engines. We're listening for that right now as all the drivers are on pit lane, and there is the command, and so here we go once again. Again, this has become a timed race because of our red flag period. We'll have 43 minutes and 58 seconds when the cars start to roll. That is Anna Beatrice that you saw right there. Ryan Hunter-Ray, Will Power, Mario Franchitti, Scott Dixon, Mike Conway, the top 5. Then Matos, Wilson, Mira, Castroneves, and Viso. Dan Weldon, Anna Beatrice, Ryan Briscoe, Simona Di Silvestro are all on the lead lap. Tony Kanaan is a lap down, so is Danica Patrick and Mario Romancini. Alex Lloyd 4 laps down, and then we have 6 cars that are out of the race.
And that's a great follow-up there, Jan, of showing you what the map's doing on the wheel. And that was a great point to say, hey, is he trying to figure his way around here? No, that's just to make sure he's in sync with his engineer when they're for turns.
Now, what Jack has brought up is the fact is when do you go to the dry tires? And that assessment is going to be made between driver and team manager, strategist, believe it or not, on these pace laps. You'll go around and you'll basically get an assessment, radio back, and the first question they're going to ask you probably after the first couple of turns, can you make it on dries? I mean, can you make it on dries? Can you make it on dries? Because the moment you think you could get around without crashing, you want to take on the dry tires because there's not rain coming. In other words, it's like the stock market. You want to be ahead of the curve. You want to do what's going to happen in the future.
So you're going to guess.
Yeah, right.
But look at how dry it is here. I would have to say somebody's going to make that gamble just after the green flag or one lap.
Why not go before?
You mean right now?
Nothing to say that I can't come in the pits right now. There's no rule against pitting during a parade lap. Well,
let's look at the puddles on this back straightaway and then on the front straightaway and the pit straightaway, and I think that will dictate that.
I think I'm going to keep them on a little bit.
Just again, the hydroplaning effect that those puddles have when you hit those tires is tough.
Jack Arute is standing by with Michael Andretti, the sole owner of Andretti Autosport.
And as Jan and Robbie were ascertaining, there's been a lot of radio conversation between he and his drivers about when to go to the dry tires. How much input are you putting into all that, Michael?
Well, we got to, the position we're in, we got to do the opposite with leaders. We hope that they pit now, and then we'll take the green flag, and then because we'll get the wave around, get our lap back, and then we'll pit right when the green. But now it sounds like Ryan may not pit, so that blow that theory.
See, that's what's the problem, just as you guys talked about. Remember that Michael is calling the shots. But remember, Michael's calling the shots, guys, on the 7-Eleven car of Tony Kanaan. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing the IZOD crew, the leader, coming in, and I see some slicks ready to go. I like this call by the IZOD Team 37. Ryan Hunter-Ray, this is a good call. And I don't think he'll have to pit again, guys.
Well, but the only thing is, though, Michael did say that he wasn't going to. So a lot of times you'll put out the slick tires, you'll get everything going, looking like you're going to change. But Michael Andretti is still the owner, and they have each of those timing stands connected on a network. And if he found out that Ryan was not going to pit, and they even baited the boss.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, they baited the boss. Oh, no, we're not going to pit. Oh, yes, we are.
Here comes at least 3, although most of the guys are staying out, guys and girls.
Wow. So now,
here comes the leader, Ryan Hunter-Ray, and Jack. Others making pit stops also.
Yeah, and now keep in mind the fact that for Ryan Hunter-Ray right now, a lot of the front cars taking advantage of this. Ryan Briscoe and Will Power have also pulled out of pit road. I think this is the right and smart thing to do, guys.
Jack, I agree with you. I think that is a good move. But for those, just as we said, that somebody gets big crossed up. But for those that have stayed on the rain tires, what they need to do right now is search out water and puddles. They need to keep cooling those Firestone rain tires down because they're even softer yet, and they'll really kind of gum up and and just peel off there if they run hard in dry condition. They need the water and the puddles to perform and keep them at the right operating temperature.
Here's the other thing they're banking on. Okay, Tony